Airbnb customer service sucks. Of course, almost all these internet companies, customer service sucks because they farm it out and they just give these people scripts and they basically don't really answer anything. They just go around in circles. So first you talk to a bot for 10 minutes and then you get a human, which isn't much better than a bot. And all they had to do was cancel the booking and give me a credit because they screwed up. So here I am, it's 3:00. I left, Jester finished his 199th 100 a little before noon. I've been up since Friday 2 a.m. So I've been up for like 36 hours. Took maybe an hour and a half nap at most, but not really in the car. So I was really excited to go to my Airbnb, which I booked the night before. For a few I picked this one, a decent price. Not that close, but I figured, heck, I'm going to take it. It had early check-in, which probably was a red flag, said I could get there at 11. So I drive across town. Las Vegas traffic is insane. The roads are insane. Everything about the place is pretty crazy. I thought California drivers are bad. So I roll into this kind of new residential area, which in Vegas, everything's new, a residential area. I roll in, there's these townhouses. I find the address. It's 5550 or something. 5550. I see a Lexus parked. I go, oh, good. Kind of matches the description of the person, this young lady who worked in the medical field. I get out of my car. I load up my stuff, put a backpack on, got a pillow under my arm. I'm a big dude. Pillow, got my drinks, got my electronics. I'm ready to take a shower and go to bed. It's probably 12:30 now. I messaged the person a few times and didn't get back to me, but I figured, I wasn't sure when Ed was going to finish. He could have finished anywhere between 6 in the morning and when he ended up finishing at noon, or could have finished at 2. So I want to write this on later. So I get up there and things seemed a little off. And I'm going to message. I push the ring cam and this little, an Asian voice comes on. I'm like, an Asian man. I'm like, this doesn't sound right. And he's like, hello. And I'm like, I'm here for the Airbnb. And he's like, what? And then so he comes down. Thankfully, he doesn't just go away. He comes down, looks at me at the window. I show him the phone. I go, I have a booking for this address. And he's like completely confused. And he's like, it's not me. He didn't speak English that well. Poor guy's probably scared to death. I mean, I'm 5'10", 250 pounds. I mean, you're unfortunately have to look at me right now. Sorry for that humming. I have the fan on. So, if it'd been somebody else, I could have gotten shot. I mean, I parked in the guy's driveway, walking up on his door. Thankfully, it was not late in the night. It was at noon. But so I get in the car, and that's when I go in the process of the Airbnb stuff. Have to go through their little stupid bot. Felt like talking to a human. She's reading off a script. She's like, we'll have to verify with the host that whatever's going on. I'm like, I called them twice. They didn't answer. I've messaged you through their system. You can see this. Just move on. If I can't get a hold of them, you can't get a hold of them. You can't do anything I'm not doing. She's like, okay, let me get back to you. It's going to take her 15 minutes. She finally gets back. She's like, okay, I confirmed, and you're going to get a refund. Okay, why didn't you just do that 20 minutes ago? And then I'm like, hey, how about a credit here? Because you guys screwed up. You let this person be a host of your system or whatever. And she's like, well, I did put in a request for that. I'm like, well, how come I don't have the coupon now? And then she's like, well, let me look for places for you. And then I'm thinking, well, I can do that and do it better because I actually know where I am. I don't think this young lady even really knows where Las Vegas is because she wasn't here. So, like an hour later, going back and forth with these people, I get my refund, and she finally gives me the coupon code, which she could have gave me an hour before. And if you look up, I've got a good rating. I do this stuff all the time when I come to races. Learn this trick from my buddy Bob. Get multi-day races, get a Airbnb or a hotel. So then I'm trying to book rooms, and of course, Saturday afternoon, dates are taken up, and then thankfully the guy I'm here with, he had a cancellation, and I grabbed it, and I finally got here sometime after 3, took a great shower. I'm in this great room, and I'm so thankful that this young man hooked me up with a place to stay. And but yeah, 2+ hours and all the driving, and he ended up giving me like a $40 credit, which I'm like, I know this, it's like when you talk to these people, you're like acting like, I know this happens a lot. In fact, one of the other places I tried to book kind of looked hanky, kind of like the other one, and thankfully they didn't get back to me. And then I saw this guy, he opened his up, because I bet you that was another one of these, bot spammy things. So unfortunately, it kind of sucks that like when you're on Airbnb now, you're going to have to link with the superhost. You can't take a chance on anybody without like a dozen or more ratings, which, I've stayed in all kinds of crazy places and come in at crazy hours. And thankfully when the young man let me in, he goes, oh yeah, I'm so glad, I had this cancellation where the people thought they were booking his whole house. And he's like, it was clearly rooms. And I go, yeah, I know. And he goes, when I saw you, he goes, yeah, you got a good ranking. And I go, hey, thank you very much. And so long story is Airbnb customer service sucks. But then like I was used to DoorDash and Grubhub, and I quit talking to them people. I drove for DoorDash for almost a year and never talked to customer service, because you call them and they just read off a script and they can't help you either, and just aggravate and drive you absolutely nuts. Guess it is what it is, but you just kind of, it's, long gone are the days when, customer service actually mentioned it. And then I always love, they say, and, this call is recorded and also for training purposes and, whatever, excellence or whatever. And I'm like, well, you're lacking in both of them. And then they keep bugging you and calling you back. I finally just had to tell this girl, stop calling me. I'm in my room, leave me alone. So hopefully I'm pretty drowsy now. My plan now, I was thinking of coming back in the evening and helping out Ed, but I'm telling him he's only slept. He did 100, of course, Wednesday and finished Thursday. We drove here Friday morning, got here at 7, leaving Bakersfield at 2 or 3. He's been up moving and hasn't really taken a break on that first 100. So I sent a message. That's a whole other thing. We got this weird phone thing going on where someone else is on our phone. So, but anyways, he's gonna hopefully take a nap sometime tonight, and then I'm gonna come and do like the last 15-20 miles with him. It won't be fun because it'll be pretty hot and miserable. Yesterday when Zach and the other young lady were battling out in 100 track and field, it was in the high 80s and bright sunny. Today it's super windy and still kind of warm and muggy. And so tomorrow afternoon, who knows what we will find, but I want to bring Ed in because this will be his 200th 100. So I'd much rather not go over there, drive all the way over there, get all sweaty and messy and do 10 miles with him, and then come back here and take another shower and go to bed and then wake up and all that kind of thing. And of course, too, I've got the whole heart failure issue. In fact, ironically, tomorrow is the anniversary of the first time I ever went in the hospital, where I actually told my wife I need to go to the hospital, and she probably almost died. I'm like, what? You going to go to the hospital? And if you listen to those, the aggravation and the thing I dealt with, the nurses were okay, but then they kept coming in and asking me for the same name information over and over. And then I had 3 doctors in the hospital. The first 5 questions out of their mouth, you could tell they didn't read my medical charts. But that's a whole other conversation. Sorry if it sounds kind of ranty, but it's just kind of my therapy here. And thankfully I had Blanca, aka the Weasel, to talk to and get me here safely, because I was definitely losing my shit. It's funny, the place I'm staying at is 420 friendly. I'm nothing against smoking pot or gummies or any of that stuff. I just straight edge. But I told Blanca, I said, I maybe need to have a joint tonight, except I can't because of the coughing thing. So as always, stay healthy, be boring, and please subscribe. And thank you guys.